Today I'm going to go over the review with you, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to record how I work through these problems. So if I need to sketch an exponential, I'll go 4 times 2 raised to the power. And remember, we are working in the new mode now, so to get this off of the exponent, you have to hit the over button, and then you can do a -1. When we graph these, we should have an exponential growth because we have b is bigger than 2. How do we get our points? Hit second graph. You can see that this graph is going to level off at -1. So when you show that graph, I told you to print a couple different points. So at -4 we have 0. At 0 we have 15. At 1 we're way up at 31. So how do I show that? We're going to level off at -1. So this is an exponential. We level off. The domain of exponential, remember, is all reals. Range is how high and how low we go. This goes forever and ever high, but it levels off at -1. So we say y is greater than -1. For the second example, I'm going to change my equation to a 4 times 0.5 raised to the x plus 2. Again, if I want to get it out of that exponent, I have to hit the over button. I have a -1. I should be experiencing a level off at -1. This should be a decay because the growth factor, or b, is equal to less than 1. So let's see what happens here. So our graph should look like a decay problem. It does. Again, you see the leveling off at -1. Get a couple points. And we have a -1 point. We have a 0.5. Coming down here, we can kind of see that we're leveling off at -1. And how high should I make this? Well, if I go over to -2, or maybe -3, 7, that should give us a pretty decent angle on leveling this off. Domains are all reals for exponential, remember, and range is a y. How low do I go? I go down to -1, so my graph goes up from -1. 3 is a graph. Again, you have to double check how you punch that in. This is a growth because the b factor is equal to 5. It levels off at 2 because of that +2 there. So get your leveling off. I like to look at what the 0 point is. 0 is at 8.25. So I can kind of get that leveling off action. Domain for exponentials are all reals. Where does it level off? At 2, and y goes up from there. Logs, you should remember from the other day, are kind of going to go opposite. So if we hit the log of x minus 1, and then again, make sure you end that parentheses and then -3. When we graph it, they go opposite, and what I mean by that is now we're going to level off in the x direction. So looks like we level off here at x equal 1, and if I get some points, everything on the other side of 1 I should get an error. So at 2, -3 I have a point, 3, -2 point something, so you can kind of see that it goes and levels off. And the big thing here is that the calculator looks like it stops, but you have to continue your graph on. The other thing is with logs, remember the all reals go in the range instead because it goes up and down for forever, and it doesn't go forever and ever left and right. So it stops at -1, or at +1, so we say x is greater than 1 because it's on the right-hand side of 1. Has the basic shape. We've kind of moved down a little bit. And again, how can I get those points? At 2, I have a -2. At 3, I have a -1 point something. Here I'm leveling off at 1 again. So x is greater than 1. And the range is all reals. To punch number 6, we have to use a different keystroke. Remember, to get to the log to the different base, we hit alpha window to get to that log of a different base. We stick in this case, we stick in a 3. The parentheses has x minus 1 in it, but make sure you get out of that parentheses by hitting the over and then a +4. We hit our second table. At 1, we have an error. At 2, we have a 4. At 3, we have a 4 point something. So we can kind of see, again, we can see in the table that we're leveling off at 1, or we can see in our graph that we're leveling off at 1. Domain goes forever and ever right from 1, and the range is always up and down for the logs. In this 7 through 10 section, you should remember how to translate log the base b of y equals x. Remember, b is your base. The thing on the other side of the equal sign is your exponent, and the argument is what it equals. So this is the formula that you'll have to have memorized for your test. And how do we use that? This says write an exponential, so this little number here is our base. The thing on the other side of the equal sign is our exponent, and what it equals is our argument. In 8 is our base, 2 is our exponent, and what does that equal? That equals 64. Going the other way to write the log, I always write log and then the base. I take the base and put that down a little bit. I leave a little space. The exponent goes on the other side of the equal sign, and the argument goes in the middle. So in 10, we have log, the base is 11, the exponent is 2 again, and it equals a 121.